one of the things that I always do is explain how the chapter is a part of UNA, which is a part of the Better World campaign, which is a part of the UN Foundation, and how we are all part of the largest network of supporters, of UN supporters in the world. And I think that's really important, and the example that you just gave and others are really demonstrative of that relationship. So I'll try and break it down. So the chapters and divisions are part of UNA. So that's the inner circle. I actually even have a graphic I can send around for this, but what the heck, I'm from New Jersey, we talk with our hands. Chapters and divisions, which is a part of UNA, which UNA USA became part of the UN Foundation 3 years ago through the Better World campaign. So the Better World campaign is our parent organization, which is then part of the UN Foundation. So we are a program of the UN Foundation, and you as division and chapter members are part of UNA USA and therefore also part of the Better World campaign and the UN Foundation. So what's the difference between Better World campaign and the UN Foundation? Because of the close relationship of the foundation to the United Nations, the foundation agreed from very early on, from its beginning, that it wouldn't engage in lobbying. But it is important that the organization does lobby and advocate for the work that the UN does around the world, and for strong US support, US leadership in the UN, and for a full payment of our peacekeeping and other dues, our responsibilities there. And so advocacy was always part of the planning for the foundation. And so the Better World Fund and the Better World campaign was begun as part of the foundation. There's a firewall in between, but they exist very closely and share staff. I actually get a pay stub from each organization representing the time I spend lobbying or non-lobbying. So we are all one big happy family, but those are the different pieces that's in that universe. So hopefully I've made that more clear and not clear as mud on how we all fit together under one big roof, if you will. So what do I do there? You all know probably better than I do the history of UNA USA. I was hired almost 3 years ago, post-merger, between the association and the foundation, to help ensure organizational sustainability. Not just organizational sustainability for UNA USA, but for all of its chapters and divisions. And so you should think of me as your resource development consultant. That is part of my job, and I invite you all to call me, email me, text, however is convenient for you, to reach out to me at any time and let me know how I can be supportive of the work that you're trying to do. A little bit about my background. I've been in nonprofit organizational management and fundraising for about 20 years. I have been on both sides of the chapter, parent, chapter, national relationship. So I've said, oh, those people at national, and oh, I've been those people at national. So I understand how the us-them works. And one of my goals is to certainly, that divide will always be there. That's the nature of a chapter-based organizational structure. But I want to make sure that we really lower that fence as much as possible and explore always opportunities for collaboration. So I have worked at very small organizations, as I said, with very, very limited budgets, to some large national organizations. The 6 years prior to joining the foundation, I ran my own consulting business and had a number of clients of all different sizes, from very local, small nonprofit organizations to very global, large nonprofit organizations. And my focus was to how to help them plan and structure themselves so that they could be sustainable. And sometimes that was board development, sometimes it was strategic planning, sometimes it was executive coaching, and sometimes it was just rolling up sleeves and getting in there and getting things done. And so I bring all of that and continue to do all of that to UNA USA. So certainly the majority of my time is spent making sure that there is a sustainable national organization. So if there isn't, then the chapters and divisions won't have much success in being, or as great an opportunity for success in being sustainable organizations without a national backbone or structure. So to do that, I work on the Global Leadership Dinner, which right now is the largest single source of funds for the national organization. My goal there is to increase the amount that we raise from that dinner every year, but to shrink the percentage of overall funds that come from it. It's a very dangerous position for an organization to have a third to a half of its annual income coming from a single source, and especially so when that source is an event. So we're looking at increasing contributions through individuals, through foundations, a number of grant proposal opportunities, corporate sponsorships, direct program investments, and even some earned revenue opportunities. And so I'm happy to talk about those at any time tonight moving forward, and can share plans on how we're doing and hope to achieve all of those things. And then, as I said, I'm here to help chapters and divisions help achieve their strategic goals. And so we have 120 chapters across the country. All of them are different sizes, have different board members, but our mission is all the same. And so if it is Laura, our Director of Membership, who many of you may know, and I do a little dog and pony show and go out and do new board member orientations. We do strategic planning sessions. We'll do development planning sessions. We're available to come in person, webinar, phone, any number of ways that we can help you build a sustainable and strategic organization. So that's an overview of the foundation, UNA's role in the foundation, who the heck I am and how I fit into that, and an invitation for us to continue conversation. I'm happy to take any questions here tonight and at any time going forward, and please invite me to help you help us help the world. Yeah.
With the UN Foundation, I go to their major event in September around the GA every year, and I've spoken to a lot of people there, and they said that I asked them how did they get invited to all of these big events that UN Foundation has, and they said that they have especially people that like in the younger group, they said that they charge you $5,000 to $15,000 membership. Do you know anything about that? I was shocked.
And there's not a membership category of the UN Foundation. We are the membership organization that is a part of the foundation. The only other exception would be the Business Council for the United Nations, which is a membership organization. So it may be that somebody is talking about sponsorship of some of the events, but there's not another membership organization within the UN Foundation.
Okay, because he along with other people that were there, they appear to be like fresh out of college, and many of them came from other parts of the United States. You know, they're not all from New York. And I've often wondered how did they get invited to, because I know that they have some great events. And this is what the guy told me. He said, well, you know, I applied for membership. One guy, he told me, he's from Ghana. He said he paid $5,000 for this membership. Then another girl that was from Kentucky, she told me she paid a membership. That was last year. I go every year. So
they must be confused. They must be thinking of something other than the UN Foundation. But if you want to follow up,
no, it wasn't. It's not. It was the foundation, because they had these students that were a part of this, whatever this is now that you say it's not a membership. We were all in one room upstairs on the second floor, where we were watching the tweets of responses to, and
plus social good.
Yeah, and so this is when I really got to speak to the students about, you know, what they thought and blah blah blah, and they all seem to have said somehow. Now the UNA, they didn't have to pay that, of course. But these other students told me they also do that. So if you're saying that that doesn't exist anymore, or it doesn't exist, you know, I'll have to look in further, because I would like to go to their other events too.
So the question I think you're asking is, how do you get on the list to be invited to events? Not,
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to know if they charge, or what do they do? Now that you say that you're collaborating with them, I want.
we are them.
Oh, okay.
My
Yours.
email address is mwain@unfoundation.org.
Okay.
We are part of that organization.
Okay. Well, so maybe things have changed since last year. No.
No, that's why I want you to send me the information and I'll help clarify it.
Okay.
But I think the question you're asking is, how do you get on the list to be
Yes.
invited to things?
And not pay $5,000 and $10,000.
Yeah, I'd like to know that too.
Yeah.
I think that might be the dinner invitation or something. I mean, sometime I get
So
that.
the dinner invitation, the tickets start at $1,500 unless you are a UNA USA member, and we have a special chapter leader rate of $500.
Okay. I mean, I sometimes saw $5,000 to
Yeah.
have a
So
dinner
those are
with the Ban Ki-moon or these and that. You know, maybe.
Those are sponsorship levels,
Oh,
which is
okay.
different
Yeah,
than
if you're
membership.
sponsoring a table.
Yeah, that was
Right.
it was 5
Right.
for members and it.
Right. That's sponsorship.
Okay. Maybe something like
Anyway, at any time, if you have a question about something,
Yeah,
send it my
I'll
way.
send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Yep.
So, Mary Frances, our old and difficult situation regarding the database.
I can't believe it made it to second. This is progress. Every time in the
I
last
mean-
2.5 years, that's been the lead question.
Yeah, I mean.
This is progress. It's question number 2.
I don't want to dwell on it overly, but it's still a big problem, and you know that.
I do know that, and I don't have the answer you want.
Because we don't even know how many members we have, and a lot of people who did renew their membership aren't on the list.
You know, I think you've heard me say this before, and others as well, but there are a lot of really great things that came out of the merger with the UN Foundation.
Yeah, I agree.
The hoops that we have to jump through in terms of the protection of our database, and a number of insurance policies that we've put in there, if you will, not literally, but to make sure that we have a clean audit every year is challenging for us, and those challenges wouldn't exist if we were still our own association. But the fact that we are one foundation that has 16 different, if you will, nonprofits underneath one roof, all using the same data tools, everybody has their own needs of those data. This is, like I said, not something you want to hear, but that's the reality that we're living in, and we're just trying to make sure that we're the loudest of the 16 different nonprofit organizations under one roof, so that our data needs get heard. And we're moving in the direction, but we feel your pain. I know you feel it more. We really do.
She feels my pain.
Yeah, we really do. It's not the dream scenario that we want. You know, I am a fundraiser, and I've been one my whole career, and I'm only as effective as my data. So
Yeah.
What about the
What software do you guys use? Sorry.
we have a number of different software right now. We've just transitioned to, well, we use Razor's Edge and Salesforce right now.
And you're still using Razor's Edge?
We're
'cause
still
some of
using
my
Razor's
people
Edge.
use it.
Some of the foundation has
Yeah.
transitioned to Salesforce. We're actually in both, which is also less than ideal.
But it wouldn't hurt to ask the young professionals, you know, send an email around to see if they could somehow work together and help her
I
organization.
mean, I worked on a foundation switching from Razor's Edge to Salesforce. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's a tough.
It is, and believe me, there are teams of people working on it.
Yeah, it needs a lot of people. I'm not. Unless there's a job there.
There could be.
I have some good news about membership, and that is that one of the issues that we thought was really a problem with how our membership data inputs were set up was on the membership page of UNA USA. And what happened there was that the first listing of a place where members could choose was national. And so we had people saying, oh, I guess I want to be a national member.
Yeah.
Okay. I am happy to say that the word national is now at the bottom of the list.
That's a good thing.
Well, can't they just say Washington?
Yeah.
No, that's not what it meant.
Oh.
It didn't mean that. It
Oh.
meant a national member, somebody who belonged to
Oh,
no
okay.
chapter, no
It doesn't
division.
mean the,
No,
Not
it
NCA.
didn't mean the
Yeah,
NCA.
not
No,
being a-
it didn't mean that. No, this was be a national member, which, sounded okay. Well, now that's at the bottom of the list. And the next step is that all those people who were classified national members, who are paying members, they are not student members who are paying nothing, are now going to be apportioned amongst chapters wherever that makes sense. And our division and Northern New Jersey were given the opportunity to beta test this. So we have looked at the numbers. We have, in our case, it was 126 people
wow.
who fell under New York. And 55 of those will come to the division, with a fair number of those being YP, which I'm very happy about. Others will be apportioned here and there. I think there are 15 that go to the New York chapter, 6 that go to Brooklyn, 1 that goes to the Mid-Hudson.
Westchester.
I forget the number, but I'll look it up and tell you. No, I think you get a handful, but whatever makes up
That's
126. And then there were perhaps 10 or 12 who were in the middle of the state who did not belong to any chapter conceivably. That would make sense to be a national member until such time as there is a nearby chapter or division. So I'm very happy about that. That apportioning is starting now. Northern New Jersey, Donna Rosa, who is a member of our board, she's traveling today also. And Donna also looked at this for New Jersey and has recommended apportioning either to the Princeton-Trenton chapter or to the Northern New Jersey chapter. And I think is further going to recommend that the Central New Jersey chapter and the Princeton-Trenton be merged. So we'll see how that all works out, but it does mean that National is listening to us and this is under their control, so I'm very happy about that. And we will get some new
Donna's a
members.
great champion. I mean, she's
Oh,
she's got a punch list we're working through.
Yep.
And it
Well,
is-
and a lot of that punch list came from this division.
Yes, I know
because
it did.
every president of a chapter or the executive director of the New York chapter wrote down, what is your wish list on membership?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I think we're all together on this. And
Yeah,
that's where I think
we are.
our voices together are larger than our voices separately. So I'm very happy about that, and thank you very much. And I know Laura does a great job. We have no problems at all with our UNA USA staff. We just need to, say this is what we need.
No, and please do. I mean, you've got to make sure that,
Yeah.
we're still as focused as we need to be on it. So we dream of the day where we're not talking about the database.
Yeah.
But I have
There's-
just one more issue.
Go ahead.
We have now 85 free students and about 50 paying members.
Oh,
and,
no.
And I know that some of those students are over 20, some of them are 30. So how is that working out that you tell them they're no longer able to be student members, they have to become regular members?
Once they are 22 and no
How do
longer
you
a
know
student.
that?
You don't know what their age is.
We don't, and so we assumed the youngest possible age they could be from a national level, but this is a great opportunity for local national collaboration, so that if you know somebody isn't, then you would invite them to take an introductory membership or something for the first year to ease them in.
Well, I think
And let us know,
Okay.
because we're looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of records at once. So you'll know better than we will who's no longer a student. There's a few that stand out to us, though.
Yes,
Been
right.
a student for a long time.
There's another issue that goes along with that, and that is those student members. If they fall into an area where we do have functioning chapters, we want to know who they are, and we want to work with them and to find ways of doing it, and also to learn where the campus chapters are, or campus groups that are being called campus advocates. We don't have that information. We are asking for it. We're asking for it tonight, in fact.
No,
So
you should
we,
have that.
we should have that.
Yeah.
And I think that the idea of the mass of students who are free memberships, I think that that's sort of the next group to look at.
Yeah.
But in addition, this grouping that is called campus advocates, or where they're organized somewhere, if they fall within our area, we should know that and we should be working with them.
No, absolutely. And I mean, we want members in chapters because they're longer term members, they're more engaged members, and so we absolutely want fewer national members and more chapter members. And so we've got to make these kinds of investments to feed the membership pipeline, but if we're not connecting them back to the chapter, we're doing it at our peril as a national organization, but certainly at the expense of the local organization. So we want you to meet these people and them to meet you, and to bring them into the fold. We're going to be doing a few things. It's the Gen UN free student membership is an experiment that we hope works, and it's easily a 3 to 5 year experiment. So now that we've invited them into free membership, our challenge is to transition them into paid membership. So we're looking at a few strategies. In fact, we had a pro bono team from American Express pondering this idea for us, and they came up with some really interesting ideas that we hadn't thought of before, like offering them, as they graduate or about to roll out, the opportunity to grandfather in a $10 introductory membership rate or something like that for a couple of years. So just to get them in the habit of paying for membership. So we're going to be looking at those and other ideas, but we welcome more ideas on that transition period from free to paid, because that's really going to be critical.
Can I ask a question about the campus advocates? Okay, so in Westchester, we have 2 Model UN teams who always win awards at the National Model UN Conference here in New York. Pace University and Mercy College. Obviously, they're really focused on it, and they really, support each other and all that. Now, I'm sure they're not part of the campus advocates because they probably don't know anything about it, but they are, quite a few of them signed up to be student members. So I'm just wondering, okay, so what's the next step for getting them involved in this campus advocates? Is there an obligation? What do they need to do?
So no, it isn't. It's a way to organize young people where there isn't a structure or isn't a convening reason, to organize them around global issues and introduce the idea of membership in UNA USA. So if they're already organized and having these conversations...
Well, they're organized in the Model UN Club.
Got it.
They are a Model UN team. Yeah.
Got it. But we want to be talking about what's next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the way to continue your engagement is through membership. And so Campus Advocates is a way to do that. And Monica Johnson manages our Campus Advocates program. I'm sure I have her email, but if not,
I do.
mjohnson at
I do.
unausa.org. I thought you might. And she can help make that connection and that bridge.
Good.
Thank you. Well, I think that we will have you back to talk
I would love to.
about fundraising and resource development beyond membership, and this was our first step. And the next time you're in New York that it coincides with the board meeting, I'd like to invite you to do that.
Thank you very much. I would love to.
Thank you very much for coming.
But do call me before then if you need me.